and as people, webinar is basically covering all the new stuff that we've added in the last couple of months. I'll go through that type stuff and go over all those new things. I will also go over a list that I will not show. However, it will give you an idea of what's coming for bug fixes and small enhancements, and of course, large enhancements. I'll go through the service catalog. I'll go through all the tasks, approvals, surveys, single sign-on, your TeamViewer integration for you, those of you that have TeamViewer already. Basically how to prepare yourself, and then I'll answer any questions. Please do not use the chat to ask questions. There is a Q&A session, so please use the Q&A session to get those questions answered, as I will not have the chat button up in front of me. Of course, everyone's going to be muted during the webinar, so you have to submit those questions via that little Q&A. And afterwards, you'll be sent a survey. So if you would, please fill it out and tell everyone how much you like this webinar. That would be good for me. If you didn't, you can always say you didn't. And then one thing that we did want to cover, the user conference for next year has been set. There are your dates for May 16th and 17th. It's the same location it's been at the last 2 years. They are offering discounts for multiple people coming, so if you have more than one, then you can get a discount for them. And we're giving you this ahead of time because I felt like in the past we can't get everyone here because your training budget probably runs out before our conference, so we're giving you a heads up way ahead of time so that way you can get it included. And also, one thing that they will do is they will include it in your renewal cost. So if you need to somehow get that pushed into your renewal cost, we can do that, and then you'll be paid up for the user conference. So now we're going to go ahead and begin with our webinar and kind of go through everything that's new. So one of the big pushes, of course, was single sign-on. So Windows Passthrough. Everyone calls it different things. You can call it whatever you want, but you don't have to log in anymore. So how do we do that? What we did, it's actually was started in version 203. The version you will see today is version 210. That will be the released version coming out. For those of you that want it now, I can give it to you. However, if you're using the mobile app, you will not want to install this for about a week until we can fully get the mobile app out and released. If you're not using the mobile app, there's nothing holding you back. You can go forward and you can do the update. So in order to do this, what we did is, it is licensable. So you go to license settings and revalidate, and we turn on Windows authentication. So how do we do that, Chris? We go to settings, we go to license, we click revalidate, and then this blue check mark will go next to Windows authentication. After that is done, you will come into Active Directory and simply turn it on. From there, you will need to go into IIS, and you'll notice I've highlighted the server name here, and there will be a feature delegation down on the very bottom. And inside that feature delegation, you can see what I've highlighted, Authentication Windows. You'll just simply change that to read write, no more logging in, unless you want to use that feature. If you have a user that is possibly a SQL user or something like that, and you have this on the outside world and you've given them access to get into this, it will still work. Anybody that it can't recognize, it'll automatically go to a login screen. So that's what the big push was. That's what's taken so long basically on this. We did have some small bugs here and there that we had to work out. So it is ready for prime time though. So if you want it, we can send it to you. We can update you. You can update yourself. You can simply go to the forum. If you want to do it yourself, I'll give you the link. You can follow these instructions to turn it on. Another increase or add. Some people ask for more than 100. So they did do 150 and 250. It's kind of an experiment to see how this works at the larger organizations. There is talks to increase to 500 and 1,000, but we want to see how the product reacts within your organizations. So right now we're holding off on going any further than that, but we did go ahead and increase this to 150 and 250 in the asset section and also the ticket section. Now, one thing you'll want to note, if you set this to 250, hold on one second, please. Now they are. Sorry about that. Had to mute somebody. All right, so you'll notice 250 is set here, but if I go to tickets, it's also going to keep that same setting, so I'm going to have 250 on the page. If you don't like that adjustment, then you'll need to manually make that change when you go into tickets. So if you're setting 250, note it's going to be 250 in both screens. Just some other adds and fixes and things I'm going to go through, and then we'll kind of go look at some other things also and talk about what's coming. So in advanced search, in a filter group, if we add a filter, we just added some things for people that have the Dell warranty. So we need to go to the assets. So that might be a good idea. Get there, advanced search, add a filter group, add a filter. These selections were not here, so warranty starts on, warranty expires on, warranty collected. All this information now is available to build a search on, which you will know you can also export out to CSV, so then you have an instant report at that time on all your warranty for all your machines. So you can build those searches to create those reports, and those fields are available now. Another big holdup on this build that took some time is making sure that we don't have to have a locations field in tickets, assets, and you guys having to edit this over and over and over again. So what we did is you have your locations and you set these up. And then inside custom fields, if you want to build a custom field to pull from the locations table, doesn't matter if it's in assets or tickets, you simply could say tickets, all categories, cascade drop-down list. You'll notice this defaults to custom. And underneath that, it'll have predefined locations. All I have to do is hit save here and name that location. And then inside all my tickets, it will actually pull this field. That's also available in the service catalog. So those of you that need locations inside your forms, no longer do you need to create a drop-down list every single time and repeat that drop-down list in every form. So if you had 30 forms and you had 30 different drop-downs of location, you get the gist of how many times you had to type that in. In this case, I can simply just come in here, like I've done here with edit. Notice locations, predefined locations is selected. Can use in routing and required on the form. So now this form has all those same locations pulled from one table. So it's just an easy way for you guys to be able to edit one place for all your locations, for all your tickets, all your assets, and inside these service catalog forms. Another thing you had asked, tasks and approvals. That was another big weight on this one. They have been added. Now, one change. A lot of you, if you looked inside your settings right now, you would see timesheet tasks. That is incorrect. It has been changed to task types. The task types actually tie to your tasks, if that makes sense. So inside task types, you will set up after hours and anything that could be created as a task. And what that will get you then is several different things. So we're going to go over our tasks, and then we'll go over approvals. And I see questions coming in, so I will definitely answer them towards the end of this. So inside of this, you used to have child tickets here. You'll note that is gone. So those of you that were using parent-child tickets, I informed you in plenty of time that this was going to be going away. Your child ticket should be converted into a task inside the ticket. And now you can add any task. So you simply click on tasks, add task. That drop-down list of task types will then populate. You will then select what type of task it is, who you're going to give it to. You don't have to give it to a technician. You can just give it to a team, but if you want to assign to a specific tech, you can. You can set due dates in them. And then here's something that I'm trying to basically teach everyone how to use this. So you are the person creating the task. You should type in the title, like so. I'm not going to put anything in the note. I'm assigning this to Chris. Chris will then enter in any notes that are going to coincide with this task. If you type in notes, then his notes will then kind of run together with your notes. It's a simple one-step process for you to enter it, save it, this technician to come in, edit it, work it, type in any notes, and save and close. Now, once the tech actually closes this task, what's going to happen? Well, whoever is the owner of the ticket is then going to receive an email from notifications that the task has been completed. So if you go in here, when you get the new one, you'll notice you have tickets, users, tasks, and approvals now. So each task can send the end user an email, the technician, and the team, just like tickets. And just like in the tickets, you can edit any of these email templates that are going out. You can turn them on, you can turn them off. This is up to you guys. Just depends on how you want it set up. You'll do that when you first do the update. So that's one way to create a task. There's several other ways to create a task. Another one possibly would be inside your forms. Now, the way I explain it to everyone is this. If it makes sense to create a task inside of a form, that means that task is going to be created every single time. If it doesn't, and it needs to be a selection from inside the form, well, we can do that also, but you wouldn't create the task inside the form. So in this case, in a new hire form, I'm pretty sure most everyone is going to use that task. Create an AD account and an email account. Set up the email, assign it to the help desk team, and let's get this started for the new employee. So that makes sense to have this task inside the form. Don't worry, the end user, the HR person, the manager, they don't see this task. It's hidden. So once this ticket is created, it automatically assigns and creates this task to this ticket. That's one way. The other way would be if we were going to go into routing. And once again, I had said in any of those forms, I was going to be able to route off of a specific drop-down or checkbox or something of that nature. So there, I could say service request is, but that would not be what we were looking at. So we would go to like employee services and we would say like new hire. So anytime it's new hire. And then what you could do is create a task off of that like this. And so this one might be set up the computer. Once this is chosen, or this is chosen, or this is chosen. So you can create tasks off of selections. You can create tasks inside the ticket, or you can create tasks inside the forms themselves. So there's 3 options for you to add these tasks. Now, one thing I also want to show you with the task is timesheet. So here's our task. Notice having a webinar was the title. So if I come in here and add a timesheet, the person who's going to work the ticket, you can enter in their timesheet information for them and the task that was assigned to it. The title will be there. This is no longer that timesheet task drop down. That should have never have been there. Now, I've already asked the developers for a box here for notes. Now, that's only because some customers want to be able to type notes with their timesheet, so that has been requested. However, if you want to really do it right, you should just enter in your timesheet and enter in your notes here. The two tie together. So there's no reason to enter in notes into a timesheet, but we will give you that option because we had it in the old one. But the task is going to be the title of the actual task that you created for the ticket. And if there is no task, maybe it's just timesheet for the main ticket, then that will be left blank. And that brings us over to approvals. So approvals, there's several ways to do this. You will create boards. Now, you can call these approval boards whatever you want. Managers, VIPs, this, that, hardware, software, whatever you want to name them. You can add as many people to the boards as you want. They can be on multiple boards. They don't have to be on one board. And you can add anybody within your AD organization. It does not have to be a technician. It does not have to be a manager. If you just have some end user that needs to be part of this approval board, you can add them. Now note, I see all the boards here when I'm requesting approval for this ticket. I do not have to select everyone on the board. If I wanted to just get from myself here, I could submit approval to myself right now. Then once the approval is done, it will then once again email that technician that this has been approved by so-and-so. But if you do need the whole board, then you could use the whole board. Now, currently, this is a manual process when we're requesting it out of the ticket. We can do it in routing and out of the forms, which I'll show you in a second. However, if I send this to approval board 1, there is no threshold for 2 of 3, 1 of 3, or anything like that. That will be added later on, probably in Q4, when the thresholds will be added. So that's just so you know that up front when you're using these boards and you're using this process. So now, approval boards are here. You simply click on the plus, name the board, add the members. Create as many as you need and want. Inside the actual service catalog forms, once again, we'll go to our new hire. You will note right here, approval requirement, no approval required, requires approval from the manager, which I will go over that in a second also, and require from this board. So you can send this straight out of the form when you need approval if it makes sense to do that. This would once again be a process that you would have to design if it makes sense in this case. And then the other thing we could do is out of routing, we can request an approval based off of a selection. So password to be reset is, and notice I have a bunch of different selections here. So in this case is Windows, request from approval board 1. So you can set up routing rules to request the approval. You can set up the form to automatically send for approval, or out of the ticket itself, you will be able to request approval. So tasks and approvals coincide together. They're in all 3 sections, and you can set them up any which way you want. Now, as far as managers goes, because this kind of ties to that, what should be happening in your environment type in me. We're going to look at me. We fill in the manager field in our Active Directory, so our site agent pulls that information down. That's what it's talking about, Requester's Manager. However, I know not everyone uses the AD field of manager. So what do? Well, if I go here and select 250 users and I know all of these people go to a certain manager, I can set them out of the product. So you have that option now where you did not in the previous versions to be able to set the manager. You can also set the time zone, and you can also set those same locations. So if you want to set locations for your users, your assets, your tickets, all that stuff can be populated from within the product now. So that's what Requester's Manager is referring to. So if you want to set your managers and you're not doing it in AD, there is a manual process to do so. Something just added. I think some people on this call will be happy. So there's two things to talk about here. One, we know that brings in departments without members. They are working on fixing this to where you can trash it like this. You'll notice that is there. So you should be able to clean that up. However, if you re-import and there is a user in that, it's going to bring it back in. The one thing you may want to do is go to the site agent and also deselect in the very first screen underneath departments that department that we just deleted. So you should be able to start cleaning some of this up. Another thing that was asked is being able to create manual groups and add users that maybe they are in an AD group, but I also need them added to a manual group so we can do SLA escalations and things of that nature. So you'll notice I've created a VIP group here. I've added 3 members to that group. So I created a routing rule that whenever this group is chosen called VIP, it will notify certain technicians here, and then we can work on that ticket accordingly. You all will also have that feature once you do this. That's how this is set up right here. Group is VIP, team, support, VIP notification. So now you can set all of that up within the system also. So those were some big problems that you guys reported having and wanted fixed. That has been done in the version of 2.10. Some of you may have noticed this in previous versions that have some. If you're on 190, 193, you may not have known this, but I'm going to go over it just so you know it's there. So if you go to site agents inside your product, and it does take a second to go there because it's not a page that gets warmed up, meaning you don't go there a lot. We don't need to hurry that page up for any reason. It will click through, of course, and my server is a little bit slower than your production server, so mine's going to take a second. But some things that we did in here. You'll notice there's a button called Download Send Inventory at Logon Script. That is a PowerShell script that we wrote here at Boss. If you click it, it will actually download the PowerShell script and put in all the correct configurations for you guys to drop it in your GPO. And then anytime somebody logs on, it will send inventory of their machine to Support Central. So you have that in, some of you have it in your current one. The ones that don't, when you get to 10, you will have this option now. Just a FYI, the download latest assistant. If any of you are wanting to use remote tools as a technician, you should download latest assistant. Just don't download it though, then you have to install it. I've had a lot of people say I downloaded it. Well, you need to install it too. And then it will allow you to use remote tools within the product. So those are two things you need to know within this side. Something else they added inside of service requests. So we're going to go edit our new hire again. Available to techs only. So if you turn that on, then only technicians will see that form. So if you wanted to have a form that all techs simply read from or fill out for every single ticket, then that would be the reason why you want to do that, or possibly just a shortcut to create a ticket. Now, a lot of you have complained about when the title comes in on a ticket and it's filled out from this form, it would be like employee services, or yeah, it would be employee services in this case. So every ticket that comes from this form would then be named employee services. So it's not able to really be searched on. What you need to do is down here, expand placeholders, and then any of the fields you have in the form, you can drop as the title of the ticket. So it will actually take whatever you put here and put it as the title of the ticket. One I have been doing for most everyone lately on like your generic IT and facilities forms, instead of having everything like this, is above. Let's go look at it. I think I did it on the previous facilities one. If not, I'll show you what I did. Nah, not on that one. You'll notice I put subject here and then detailed description. So the reason why I have subject here is, one, most users are used to email and they refer to everything as subject. So a lot of you said, I don't like the ticket title because they refer to it as subject. So I just put subject as their field. And then notice I have the subject field here. I drop that as the ticket title, and that becomes the title of every ticket, whatever the end user puts in the subject field. So this will save you time for searching and things of that nature. And of course, you can make it a required field. I went over the email notifications. Good. Another thing they added, for those of you that have TeamViewer, there is now a TeamViewer integration. And it doesn't matter if you have the cloud TeamViewer or the on-premise version, we can integrate with either one. It's as simple as you filling out some information from them and turning it on. What that gets you is inside the ticket itself, I can start a TeamViewer session from right here. So I can remote into the end user's machine from right here and start that session. And it will also log that information in the log files. Bomgar will be the next one inserted here. After that, it will be Zoom. Anybody else that has something they want integrated in here, let us know what you use, and we'll see if it's a possibility. SCCM will be one that will be coming in the future also. However, SCCM integration will be a little bit different. I just want to give you a heads up on this. Not only would you be able to use your remote session, you will be able to turn off boss's inventory and pull from SCCM's inventory and populate our fields with that information. So if you're currently using SCCM and that's something you would like, it will be integrated into the product. I don't have a true time frame on that. I believe by Q4 that integration will happen. But if anybody really wants to know a true time frame on that, just get with me and I'll get with the development teams and I'll get the accurate information for you on that. So that's all the new additions that we've added. Yes, there's been a ton of bug fixes within the product. There is a lot more to the product. So, I can go through all of this, and I'm going to use your questions to kind of go through it all. Just to give you an idea of some things coming. Problem, change management will be added in by the end of Q3, beginning of Q4. What that gets you is 2 new modules. Okay, so when I say 2 new modules, that means you have to actually purchase the modules if you want to get problem and change management. They will not just be given to you. Okay, so if that's something you desire, or you can get with Maha ahead of time on this and get some pricing from him on that. They will look just like this: tasks and approvals up top. So it would be tickets, problems, changes, tasks, approvals. So those should be out into Q3, beginning Q4. The next other small integration coming within a month is what I'm being told. Is going to be right here. Like we have the Dell warranty check, HP is the next one to be inserted. So we have the HP integration. I believe we already have it in the cloud. So now they're going to put it into the on-prem, and you guys will get that one automatically put in. And then for anybody using Chromebooks, especially schools, we have already done the work on this. They've already coded it, and I've already seen it work. You will be getting a Chromebook inventory edition in here. So those of you that need Chromebook inventory, please let us know, and we will get with you on that information on when we can release that out. So Google Chromebook will be inventoried also. Now I'm going to go over my to-do list. So the way this has kind of been working, you'll notice we have had a little bit of a slow up lately as far as getting releases out. And that was due to the tasks, the approvals, the Windows authentication, all those things, and working out those bugs and stuff. So what we have done is we came up with the list. It used to have about 115 items on it. Vishu and his team have got this down to below 70 already. And on this list is going to be bugs, site agent bugs, product bugs, small enhancements. So some of you have made requests like the SCCM integration. That is a request, an enhancement request we received during the users conference. That's being worked on. So these type of requests that were made during the users conference or over the last couple of months are actually being worked on this list. We're going to knock this list out, and then they're going to move on to the HP and the problem and the change management. So just to give you an idea of some of the smaller enhancements that are going to come, one will be a holiday calendar, so you don't have to enter in all the holidays. The SCCM thing. Let's see. You'll get team notifications for approvals. That wasn't added in there. Somebody has asked for cloning or resubmitting of tickets with pre-populated information. That will also be added in there. An ability to link tickets, not necessarily being a problem or a change. That's something they're working on. Team managers. I've heard several customers ask for being able to set a manager of a team, because you might have a manager that runs multiple teams. So that's also being added into it. Linking of CIs to different CIs and being able to deassociate when the archiving goes into place. So we're working on some things with that. Auto-assigning timesheet, especially for our after-hours people. The create and close of a ticket. I'm just going through this list, so give me a second. Last logged in user as part of our asset inventory instead of just primary user and inventoried user. So that's another one. Also, to get the last logged in user, if you use the logon script, that would also get that feature in there for you. All the widgets for tasks, approvals, and things of that nature is going to be added. Tasks, that's good. Watchers. We will be adding watchers to routing rules. And that's pretty much it. Some things that are fixing to pop in the next week or two. SLAs, email tech managers, email teams, and email assignees, and also assigned to. So we didn't add those in our current SLAs. So right now you could just email. Let's see what we got here so I can show you. We could just email, or assign would be if it's after. So you can assign to a technician or notify to a technician, but you can't notify to a team, a manager, or anything like that. So managers, teams, assignees, and also assigned to will be added here. The groups they did. Click on a user and missing the tickets tab. So that one's going to be out in probably less than a week and a half. So you have assets, you have general information, you'll have the link to your tickets. A big one for everyone that likes the reporting feature. So advanced searches. Once again, you build an advanced search, you can export that out to CSV, and voila, you have a report. You cannot do that in tickets currently. Week and a half, guys, and you will have the export feature here. So that one's being added also. And they're finishing up with the predefined locations and the routing rules. So you'll have those drop downs predefined in there also as an action, not just a condition. So those are some of the things that are going to come out in the coming weeks. If you have any other bugs that you find in this, of course, we're going to want you to let us know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start fielding questions. So I see there's already 11 here, and I'm just going to start at the very top. I'm going to read the question, and I'm going to give you an answer if I can, of course. So you mentioned Dell warranties. Which manufacturers are you pulling warranties for? It's only Dell at this time. HP will be added. Yes, I know a lot of you like Lenovo. I am actually on a Lenovo laptop. The problem with Lenovo is not us, it's Lenovo. They're not like HP and Dell where you can fill out some paperwork and jump through some hoops and finally get their API key and get added to the list. They're a lot more complex than that, and I don't know if it could ever get done. We're working on it, is all I can tell you. So we're in talks with them to get it done. Whether or not it ever happens is going to be more on their end, not on our end. So if you have a Lenovo rep and you want to put a bug in their ear, please do so, because that would also help us out. All right, can you set billable to always be on or off? Currently, by default, it's always off. I don't know if we could go into the database and flip that to show as always on or not, but it could be something I could talk to the team about. Can you have the ability to choose both the approval from the board and the user's manager? Well, no, because currently you only have one selection, as you saw inside of that. And if my mouse will come back over here. There we go. So inside of this is what the question is. Can we request from the manager and the board? As you can see, it's one or the other. However, if approval board won, and then you wanted to add a second board, you could. So if that manager was on that board, you could do that. Or within the ticket itself, then you could request it from the user's manager himself. That would be your workaround at this time. I can talk to the team about doing both. Well, they're probably going to tell me build a manager board, but we'll go down that road and discuss that with the team. We use Dameware for remoting. Okay. Yes, those of you that use Dameware, you can still use it like you use it in current Support Central. So what you do is we can still set it up to go through remote tools. You just won't have that option inside the tickets themselves. So just like I do with RDP, I would set up a Dameware, and then I already have their silent switches and stuff, so I would program that in for you. However, you would see it from this section here inside of assets. So it wouldn't make sense to do it in bulk. So you would click on the actual asset itself, and then you would have remote tools, Dameware. Now, another way to do that would be something like this. So you're inside the ticket itself, and I got to find one with an asset in it. So maybe we'll just put an asset in one real quick. So if I wanted to link this asset to this ticket, I can simply click on the asset name and I'm into the location I need to be, and then I can go to Dameware. So it is a second click. There isn't a recording session for it out of the ticket, but I can still do and use the same functionality. Got a question on assets. Can we delete assets yet? Not in this version. It is on the list that I was just reading from. Let me tell you where it's at on this list. It is number 7 in the list to get done. So not only the trash can for deleting assets, but also the event logs for the assets will be added. Within the probably middle of September, I would say, this top 10 list will be in there, and that's in there. So yes, that is coming. It's not in this one. When is ticket timer coming? So we're talking about an auto timer. That one is still in the works. It's not on the get it done list right now, due to the fact that not everyone wants it. Plus, we have to add it into the mobile app and into the product. So they are going to look at doing it, and that's where you can start the timer inside the ticket and it logs your time. The problem we have with it is, once again, what if somebody forgets to stop the timer? So we're thinking about putting a threshold or something on it. So we're talking about it. We're just not getting to on the list yet. So give us a little time and we'll work that through. How long before we can add timesheet information to service catalogs? I don't have a time frame on it. It is on this list to be done though. So adding timesheet automatically is something that they're working on with this list of, like I said, about 70 items. Can we specify the managers of technicians teams the same way we do for users? Not currently, but once we get your thing added where we can have managers as teams, then yes. Can you do escalation to managers? That's coming, that's in the next release next week. What about the custom widget feature? That one is not going to be anytime soon. We have a ton of widgets in the cloud version. So a lot of those, once they make sense, like there was no reason to add tasks and approval widgets in here when we didn't have tasks and approvals. So now once the tasks and approvals have all been set in, now they'll look at adding those widgets. They are on this to-do list. So they will be coming up in the coming weeks. As far as the custom widget feature, that's a ways off. That's probably going to be next year before that is even talked about being allowed. You have to purchase. Okay, TeamViewer integration issue. Does the package come with TeamViewer? No. You would have to purchase TeamViewer from TeamViewer, and then we can integrate with it. However, those of you that are interested in doing that, Boss can get you a discount. Since we integrate with TeamViewer now, we have a little leeway with them, and they will give us a discount. And I believe we can pass that discount on to you. So if you are interested in moving over to TeamViewer, that could be something that's a possibility. We're not promoting it. We're just, I can get it for you. BombGuard, like I said, is the next integration. After that is Zoom. And then I don't know about Dameware because Dameware is SolarWinds and they don't like us. And, we don't like them. We don't play nice together. So I don't know if we'll get that ever added. We currently have 398, plan to move to 4.0. Yes. Is this a good time to implement 4.0? Yes. That's the reason why I have not really been giving releases out, guys. So as you'll notice, I've been posting stuff here in the forum with fixes, but there's no links and you haven't gotten the updates. The reason being is, as I find bugs, I submit this back. Even though they send me this and I promote it out to you, that doesn't mean it actually gets sent to production for you. If I find bugs, I send it back to them. And each release, I'm going to go ahead and post what they fix in here, and any enhancements, of course, that they add, so you know what's coming. However, as far as being a solid release, 2.10 is going to be the solid release, and 2.10 is going to be pushed out. So what that means is those of you that want to do the update and don't want to wait on the link, eventually you'll see it here in updates. Those of you that want the link, just let me know. I'll go ahead and send the link out to you. We can do it. You need to let me know ahead of time before you do it, because I do have to go edit your license. I do have to go turn on, just so you can see, Windows authentication for you. So don't just do it and go flip it on and say it's not working, because I have to turn this on so it can revalidate your license. Will a copy of this webinar be available to show others in our organization? Why, yes, of course. It will be out on our website probably tomorrow. Question, can we run a report from the assets module to export all QR codes as a single print to print multiple asset tags at once? I don't advise printing from ours, because sometimes, I don't know if the format's going to be correct. But if you can get your format correct, then yes. You don't have to do an export, though. You can simply check these, do an action, and do a print barcodes. That would allow you to print 250 in this case at a time. So if you are going to do it straight out of the product, that would be the way to do it. I would try it on one first. That way you can get your dimensions correct to your printer. That's the hardest part to that. Any plans on having the extended status changed to specific value when ticket is closed? Yes, it is on the list as missing, because we had it in the old one. It is real high up on the list. Problem is that we're going to do it out of triggers and monitors. Triggers and monitors is not going to be out for a little while, so they may do a different workaround just to get that done. But yes, we are planning on changing the extended status to a value that you want when the ticket is closed. All right, forms. Yes, there is a limit on forms starting off. So when you get a license from me, you will be licensed for 3 service request forms starting off. Just talk to me about what you really need, and we'll work it out with you on the back end. So we will take care of any form issues and get with you on that. If you delete an asset in Active Directory, will it delete in BOSS? No, it won't delete in BOSS. What it will do is go to Archived Assets. So any assets you delete out of your Active Directory should automatically be moved into this section here. Now, note, we know there is an issue with this. We are working to correct that issue. So if you do have a couple assets that get hung up in there, you do have a manual feature to do this. Archive them. So we're working on that right now. There's a couple little small bugs within the site agent that we know about. It doesn't do it all the time. It just does it some of the time. So we're working on that, and we will get that out. They're almost done, actually, with a new site agent. I'm actually testing it now, so that's to fix several little bug issues with archiving, users, students being brought in that shouldn't be brought in from an OU, stuff of that nature. So we're aware of them. We're working on them. Once that's done, we'll get you that information. All right. So I believe, is that all the questions? My goodness, that's all the questions, and we have 10 minutes left. I thought it would go over today. So, some things you guys need to, so I'm going to take up your 10 minutes though. All right, so for all release notes, go to the forum, and I'm going to show you where it's at. So inside the forum, it's being a little slow. Is my Wi-Fi acting up? Yeah, it is. Wow. Usually doesn't do this. Usually goes right there. Let's just close that tab and go back. Well, I'd show you if it would go there. So we'll just wait till it goes there, and I'll do something else with inside this. Maybe, unless we have an internet problem. Nope. Okay, there we go. So you guys are all interested in these forms. So we're going to go look at the forms. I've had some people ask for blanks be inserted in here to build your forms. You'll be able to do stuff like that. We are thinking about adding a blank field. That's one thing that we're being talked about. I'm going to go ahead and close that. It's spinning up too bad. So we're going to go in here. Just so some people, because some people asked about some certain little things on how to build these forms. So those of you that know how to build forms, this will be a little repeat for you. But how did I get this? Okay, so that's the heading. So if you want to put breaks inside of it, so you want to have new hire form and ask for account information. Maybe we change this to account information. Info for setup, like this. And then we're going to have hardware information here. So we might do something like this. And I'll teach you a little trick. So to get this to go above that, drag it to the left. I was trying to drag it to the right and it wouldn't go. So if you drag it to the left of where you want to be, then you can drop that ahead of it. So maybe I want computer down here. I just simply drop it down here and simply like that, move stuff around. Machine info, for you guys that have an older version inside the forms, you can drop machine info inside any form. It makes sense too. And what that gets you is it automatically puts the host name of the machine that the end user is on creating the ticket from. Now, if they're on a different machine than their normal machine, then inside the ticket, you would unlink that machine and link the correct one. So there would be a step process in this. However, if it doesn't make sense, you don't have to drop this field in here. So that's just some one thing there. And where's our questions? Somebody did a chat. Oh, there's one. Okay, he did it into the question. All right, we're good. Ask, is there a manual? Currently, the manual process is me. So if you want the manual, you got to get with Chris and I will discuss things. There is a boss desk manual, which does coincide with this. We can give you a link to that, which will also help with setting up because the two products mirror each other. Somebody asked, what about reporting? All your reports are built in here. Now, these are your summary reports. They are interactive. Here's an integration report. And then for those that we don't have the report, you can't derive the report in assets tickets using the advanced search. You do have custom reports. So you'll see a bunch in here. We're just playing around, but like an asset warranty details report, I can give you that report on the fly. You can export it out to CSV. You can print it. So if we have a report that you guys need, just let us know. I get Ganesh to write the report for you. We send it to you via email, and then you just simply go to custom reports, choose the file, and import the report, and then it'll show in this custom tab. And as you can see, we've been writing some for some people already. So those are some things that can be done for you also. There are looking at enhancing some of these other reports. So those are some things that we can do. But another thing, speaking of reports, notice I have global and my reports. You can save and put conditions inside these summary reports. So if I want to see a change summary report off the change category, well, this one has nothing, so we'll do a closed ticket one. You'll notice I have number of tickets, closed tickets. Here's the filter, status is closed. You can add multiple conditions inside this and save this report to derive any PI information that you may want, along with date ranges. And this is also a good way, just so you know, I'm going to clear this out real quick, to learn how to do filtering or advanced searches. So watch this. So I'm going to do ticket summary, and I'm going to do this month. Now I'm going to click on the support header. Now what it's done is put the category is support, created at is on after 8/1, created at is on after 8/28. So it built this filter for me. Well, if I like this, I can simply save it, name it, put it as a global search for myself or everyone, or just keep it for myself. So if you ever really need to learn how to use the advanced searches, you can use your reports, put a filter on, and it'll have that saved search in front of you. Then you can manipulate the data as you see. And you can add multiple condition groups. The only key to this is, and a lot of you SQL guys and gals will know this, all is and any is or. So that's something you need to remember when you're building your conditions. All is and, any is or. So category is support, or maybe I do category is something else. So now I can build multiple conditions for this search. Teams, it doesn't matter what. Your custom fields show, everything shows in here. Will we be able to build our own custom reports without you having to do it in the future? The answer is no. We will have to build the custom reports. Now, if you guys use something like Crystal reports, you can snap into the database because you own it, and you can still write your reports. For those of you that like Excel reports and are used to writing those, Ganesh has written all the reports from your old 399 to go here in Excel. He can give you that, and you can populate reports from Excel. So we give you many options for your reports. It doesn't have to necessarily be inside the product. Scheduled reports is something that's being added also. So you'll be able to email out those reports. And it looks like I've wasted all y'all's time now. So on that note, if there's no more questions, and I'm going to hang out for one more minute and make sure no question pops up, then we will end this webinar. For those of you that have any questions or anything like that and want to get with me on those, please just email me or give me a call, and then I will work with you on that. Also, please remember to use the forum, as that will allow you to see releases, ask questions, and eventually we're actually going to take our forum to the Boss Desk forum. So we're going to combine the two. So you'll see some of the conversations from the Boss Desk customers that are on the cloud, which are going to make sense for you because they've given you a lot of information out there already. If you want to check out that forum, I can give you that link. They've got all kinds of stuff going out there where they've had conversations between customers. So use the forum to your advantage to talk with each other and, of course, talk with us. But I appreciate your time, and we look forward to working with you on this, and just let us know how we can help you. And in a minute, you will receive a survey. Please fill it out and let them know whether or not I did a good enough job for you. All in all, y'all have a great day, and we'll talk with you soon. Thanks.